My speech will contain topics of mental health and self-harm, so if this is an uncomfortable topic for you, feel free to step out. My speech will be about 13 minutes long. Thank you. As a minor in the world of medical treatment, determining who gets access to your personal health care is complicated. Upon the age of 12, a patient can have full access to their medical information, but limited access to their treatment decisions. Once a patient discharges, however, their name can no longer be stated in any environment amongst medical professionals. So, as a compromise, most staff members and peers will resort to using the ex-patient's initials. Therefore, I was known as SH, the two initials of my name. Just a kid without any sense of a voice. But I'm an adult now, and I've been thinking about turning 18 for a while, since obviously being 18 in the medical world can drastically change the course of your treatment plans. So it is a big deal, being an official adult. I can do things like seek out my own therapist and advocate for what medication and what dosage is right for me. I have a voice now. When I was younger, I was more focused on how to survive high school. I had such high expectations for such a small kid, and a lot of the time it felt like I was on top of the world. But the criticism and the demand for success was what I knew, and my foundation for myself had been cracked for as long as I could remember, gaps in the places that allowed me to fully thrive in my environment. It felt like I was on top of the world, and then it didn't. Every achievement I had was because I was afraid of the other side to it, the failure or the mistake. That to me meant punishment. Eventually, I had found myself at the bottom of the hole I had dug myself in. Why was I like this? Was it the circumstance? Genetics, maybe? You know, I do have a family history of mental illness. And these were the kinds of questions that the doctors would ask me when I got moved to an inpatient treatment center towards the end of my freshman year. It seemed like what mattered the most was the how. What abuse or traumatic experience had I undergone to be this way? But really, I just wanted help. It's hard being a patient and a person in treatment. A lot of times people don't give you the same respect that they give you on the outside. I mean, I wanted to be perfect. How close could I get to touching the sun? Before the skin of my fingertips melted away from the heat, how long could I stand the pain of it all? If it meant that I was a role model to the people around me. Anyways, I transferred in and out of treatment centers for around the next 9 months. Sometimes I'd be at home, living there, while going to an inpatient treatment center for 7 hours a day. Other times I'd be living cities away in a group home with people and kids who struggled similarly to me. I was treated for major depression and anorexia nervosa. It is still hard for me to talk about my experiences as patient SH out loud. A lot of times in the system, patients are either lucky or they are not, where patient care is better and where it can get faulty. But I was lucky to be in the in-between for the majority of my time. They say that you can provide consent above the age of 12 for your treatment, but in reality, this is false, because consent looked like 15-year-old me signing stacks of legal papers at 3 a.m. after an hour-long ambulance ride to an unknown facility. Consent looked like forcibly having to take medication that I hardly knew the name of. Consent looked like being held in a facility for longer than what was legally allowed. Don't get me wrong, treatment helped me in so many ways, but it made me feel like some encaged wild animal. Hospital gowns and liquid supplements and medication, it was a drastically different lifestyle to get used to. Sutured skin, the beginnings of an infection from the stitches being left in too long without care. Daily weigh-ins, needles in my arms, green bruises scattered across my skin from poking and prodding at the veins underneath. It felt like I was something to be studied, something not human or worthy of being treated like one. It was cold there, a word I use often to describe my experiences at treatment. Cold, and oddly enough, I love the feeling of freezing. Cold, and it was addicting almost to feel like an animal trapped. One thing most people don't know about mental disorders and people who struggle with them is that being sick is like a reward for it. Shedding weight and going less time in between each relapse feels like a step up on that podium of being sick. It feels good to be dying, to have your energy dwindle down to nothing. I had lost this respect and this position of being everyone else's role model, but being sick felt like I could be my own hero. It felt good to have the pain and the ache in my abdomen from the emptiness in my stomach, the emptiness in my head, and in my life. I still find myself missing the environment of hours of group therapy and the environment of censored language. As a patient in the system, it is hard to be treated with respect all the time. And it's hard to be treated with kindness. It felt like all I had to my identity was being sick. Like that was the only thing left for me. My success in school and academics and sports, that was gone once I became in treatment. I was just a patient now. It felt good to be sick. But being sick wasn't the accomplishment that I wanted for my life, and I was tired of it taking every piece of me. And I stayed this way for so long, too long, refusing to try and refusing to listen to anybody else but that voice in my head telling me it was the only thing I could trust. But treatment can only be tolerated for so long. I missed having a life to look forward to. I missed having hopes and dreams for myself. I missed the feeling of achieving something good, not something unhealthy like I had been. I wanted to know myself to be a strong and resilient person, like the little kid I once was. I wanted a deeper connection to the world around me and what it meant to be living in it. I wanted things to change, but frankly, life outside is harsh and unforgiving, and life inside in the treatment center is lonely and miserable. So where exactly do I belong? Eventually, I came to realize that this recovery thing everyone was urging me to do, it would take time, and if I wanted to commit to it, I had to commit to it fully all the way. That meant picking myself up after a relapse and encouraging myself to keep going, even if I didn't want to. Taking bites of the food I would normally refuse to eat. I had to do it even though it was hard, because this wasn't an option that I wanted for my life anymore. I wanted things to be different. I have learned that I belong right here, right now, where I am. And it is my job to find comfort in the space that I am, wherever and whenever that may be. This recovery thing, it will be one of the hardest things that I have to do, but I must do it. Because I don't want to go back to the way it was. I want to have a life to look forward to. And I want to make it out of this alive. One thing I would tell myself often when I first started recovery, and even to this day, is that I need to go back to the foundations of what it means to be alive. From the first thing we do when we are born, and that we have done for every second since up until this moment. If I cannot find myself to get myself to do anything, I must breathe. Take one breath at a time. I must breathe and keep breathing. All of this is still very embarrassing and humiliating to admit, because struggling to do things that others do easily is hard to accept. And having this thing in your head that nobody even asked for in the first place is so challenging. And I'll be honest, you don't get much appreciation for trying to fight it. But at the end of the day, this appreciation and this gratitude, it has to come from you. Because it's not always going to come from someone else. And so recognizing the times that I stepped out of my comfort zone in my recovery has been a huge step for me. And it still is. Because I have a voice now. And I have a name now. So without further ado, my name is Sienna Hidalgo. I am 18 years old and I discharged from eating disorder and mental health treatment over 2.5 years ago. And I am standing here to be vulnerable and to share with you a little piece of myself that I hope you will take thoughtfully. Because it's not easy to be here, and everyone in this audience has found a way to be here and breathe through it all. We all suffer through pain no matter what it looks like. It all hurts the same, and your pain is no less than the person's next to you. It is so real to be struggling with mental health, and it is not embarrassing because it is genuine. And so many go about their struggle in silence. Like the people you wave hi to, the people who you've known since you were in diapers, those people who piss you off while driving, and that one coworker that nobody likes. Regardless, we all struggle. I am not here for your pity. Yes, my teenage years have looked a little bit different than a typical person, but that doesn't change the me that you may know. To some, I am a teammate in track. To others, I'm a stage manager in tech theater. Some of you may only know me as a classmate, or maybe you may know me as past patient SH. But my name is Sienna Hidalgo. Over time, we all come to know ourselves a bit better. And it'll take me a lifetime to learn who I am and figure all that out, but I will spend that time living, and I will spend that time breathing. And so even though the time will change, so will I. I mean, look at where I am now, almost 3 years later. I didn't think that I would live to see any of this and be here speaking in front of all of you. But here I am, and here are you. Thank you.